You are.
We have a quorum. Is that correct?
We do have quorum, yes.
Okay, great. Thank you. I apologize for not being in person. Thank you, folks. So we will go ahead and start the meeting. Call to order here. Pull up the agenda. Give me a second. So roll call. I believe Mr. Chavez and Ms. Fleming are both absent.
Correct.
Okay, Mr. Palestro,
I'm here.
Mr. Burzins, I'm also present. Mr. Pepper,
Here.
Mr. Selden.
I'm here.
Yeah, so that's 3 of 6. Is that what I'm?
We have 4 of 6.
Excuse me. I'm so sorry, folks. Okay. So approval of last month's minutes. Any adjustments, amendments, changes? I'm not hearing anything. Take a motion.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes. I'll second.
Motion by Mr. Selden, second by Mr. Palestro. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Adoption of the agenda. Anybody have anything they want to change? Entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to adopt the agenda.
Mr. Selden, you need a second?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Palestro. All in favor, aye? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Adoption of the agenda motion passes. Before we get into general business here, let me read this here for the public. For the benefit of all the applicants, I will briefly explain the function of the board, the procedure that will be followed at this hearing. Well, this is a formal proceeding which is subject to review by the district court. There is no reason for you to be nervous about asking any questions if you do not understand something about tonight's proceedings. The Board of Adjustments and Appeals hears all cases concerning single-family dwelling variances, hardship variances requests, and appeals from decisions made on administrative adjustments relating to single-family dwellings. The Board of Adjustments and Appeals has the power to act in regard to matters arising from the appointments of provisions of the city code. Excuse me, I'm so sorry, guys. As applicants, you must convince at least 4 members of the board or a majority of those present that your application should be granted based on the criteria contained in the city code. This board has the power to hear applications for variance of code requirements for existing single-family detached properties only. The grounds for approval require that there be no adverse effects on adjacent properties and that a majority of the following criteria are met. 1, The variance results in an improved design. 2, no adverse effects on neighborhood character. 3, variance is compatible with adjacent development. 4, no impact to existing city infrastructure or public improvements. 5, variance achieves an internal efficiency of design. 6, variance controls for all external effects. For the cases listed in the hearing portion of the agenda, I will call each case separately and have the city representative present the facts and other necessary documentation regarding your application. You will then be given an opportunity to present your evidence to the board. During your presentation, you should During your presentation, you should let the board know if you disagree with any of the facts stated in the city by the city representatives. The board will also give each interested persons the opportunity to express their views regarding your application. Members of this board may ask each witness questions, but these questions should not be interpreted as indicating that any member has prejudged the application before the hearing or before hearing all evidence. Before we begin, do any of you have any questions concerning the procedure or the rules governing tonight's hearing?
Mr. Chair, he's
Seeing
good.
that there. Is there any questions?
No, we confirmed with the applicant. He has no questions initially.
Okay, and there's nobody from the public that has any questions? I just want to make sure that we're good. All right, what will the city staff please just go ahead and present the case tonight?
Yes, good evening, everyone. This is Stephen Gubrud, and I'll be presenting case number 04-25 on behalf of the Planning and Business Development staff for your consideration this evening. This application is pertaining to a property located at 356 South Revere Street. The applicant, Allstate Contractors, on behalf of the property owner Don Bouchard, requests one variance from UDO section 146-4.2.2.A.1, Table 4.2-1, which states that the minimum side setback for properties within the R1 zone district is 5 feet. The request is to allow for an expansion to the existing garage, which would result in a setback of only 3 feet. Therefore, a variance is being requested for the 2-foot reduction in setback distance from the side property line. Currently on screen is a vicinity map showing the property's general location south of the southeast corner of the intersection of East Nevada Avenue and South Revere Street, the closest arterial intersection being Peoria Street and Alameda Avenue, approximately a quarter mile to the northwest. And on this slide, we have an up-to-date aerial view of the property from March of this year. You can observe the existing garage and driveway on the southeast portion of the lot. The subject property, as I mentioned, is located at 356 South Revere Street and is in the Aurora Hills neighborhood within the Aurora Hills No. 3 subdivision. The property is approximately 0.163 acres with an approximately 960 square foot primary residence constructed in 1963 according to the Arapahoe County's assessor's records. The subject property and the entirety of the surrounding neighborhood are zoned R1, Low Density Single Family Residential District, and are made up primarily of single-family detached homes. The purpose of the R1 district is to promote and preserve safe and attractive low-density single-family residences. This district is intended to prohibit all commercial activities except for permitted home occupations. The R1 district is generally comprised of medium to large suburban single-family lots. Some limited recreational, educational, gardening, and other uses are also permitted. I'll now go through some of the site photos relating to this case. So this first one is an east-facing view of the front yard area as shown on Google Maps. you can observe the existing driveway and garage conditions, currently featuring a one-car garage here. And then this image is just a closer up picture which better depicts the area which would be affected by the proposed garage and driveway expansion. For reference, the expanded garage would extend approximately to the right of this garbage receptacle shown in the image here. And this picture is another view of the home's front plane. This is facing a more southward direction. And then this is the opposite side, so facing in a more northerly direction. And then on this image, you can see the T111 siding, which is currently between the gables. Bear in mind, if approved, the expanded garage would be entirely clad in this material. And lastly, just another full view of that garage with the neighboring home in view for perspective. On this image, you can also see some of the cracks in the driveway, which are part of the factor for the homeowner deciding to make the proposed improvements. Then on this slide here, we have a drawing which illustrates how the expanded garage and driveway would be spatially configured on the lot. I've highlighted the subject improvements and corresponding measurements for your reference. As you can observe, the resulting setback for both the garage and driveway would be 3 feet. Keep in mind that for parking surfaces on residential lots, the required setback is 2 feet from the side lot line. Therefore, no variance is necessary for the driveway, just the garage. The applicant requests this side setback variance to accommodate the proposed expansion of their existing single-car garage to a 2-car garage, and has stated that the variance is necessary as without the 2-foot allowance, the resulting garage would be only 18 feet in width, which is not sufficient as it will not allow enough space for the homeowners to exit or enter their vehicles once parked. To serve the widened garage entry, the applicant is also proposing an expansion to the driveway area to match the proposed 20-foot width of the garage. As I mentioned, the minimum setback distance for residential parking surfaces from the side property lot line is 2 feet. Therefore, the proposed driveway expansion would be compliant and would not require a variance. The proposed expanded driveway will help improve the condition of the property's parking surface, which is currently cracking at various locations. City code requires that expansions to residential structures be architecturally cohesive with the rest of the primary dwelling. The applicant has expressed that the expanded garage will be fully clad in T111 siding, and then the entire residence will be painted to match. The existing garage is clad in brick and features T111 paneling between the south-facing gables. Bear in mind that if the variance is granted, the garage expansion will require a permit and will be inspected for building code compliance, including the application of fire-rated materials for any areas encroaching into the prescribed 5-foot setback. Public noticing requirements have been fulfilled for this case, including posting of the public notice sign, which occurred a minimum of 10 days prior to tonight's hearing. During staff review of this case, no public comments were received. According to UDO section 146-5.4.4.b.3, which is Exhibit D in your packets this evening, the Board of Adjustments and Appeals may grant variances based on the criteria currently listed on screen. The setback requirements contained within the Unified Development Ordinance, or UDO, are in place to minimize conflicts between neighboring properties and land uses, while also providing space for maintenance of any structures on a given lot. 2-car garages are not uncommon within this neighborhood. Also, the expanded driveway would allow the homeowner and guests to park on the property, potentially freeing up on-street parking spaces. The dimensions of the driveway are typical for a 2-car garage and would meet all requirements of city code by providing a minimum of 2 feet between the edge of the parking surface and the side lot line. Furthermore, the driveway design is compliant with the 40% hardscaping maximum within the front yard area for residential properties. The size of the driveway is compatible with nearby and surrounding properties, as it's reflective of other improved properties in the neighborhood and even on Revere Street itself. The applicant also exhibited provision of due diligence by proactively applying for this adjustment prior to permit submittal or construction, which is the preferred circumstance when seeking alternative compliance to or relief from the requirements of city code. When analyzing variance requests for residential expansions, which encroach into the setback distance required by city code, it's important to consider the potential impacts on adjacent property, as well as the safety and maintainability of the encroaching structure. Staff believe that the resulting 3-foot setback would not adversely affect the adjacent property and would allow for typical maintenance of the expanded structure. Furthermore, the proposal does align with the character of the surrounding properties and general neighborhood from a size, scale, and design standpoint. Overall, staff finds that the proposed garage expansion, with its size and aesthetic, meets the criteria for granting a variance. Staff finds that the requested variance meet the approval criteria because the request would result in an improved design. It is consistent with the character of the surrounding residential neighborhood. It's compatible with adjacent development. It would not impact existing city infrastructure or future public improvements, and the proposal would control for or mitigate any external effects. Based on these findings and the reasons stated in tonight's presentation and the staff report, staff recommends approval of the requested variance as proposed for the property located at 356 South Revere Street, contained in case 04-25, because it meets the following criteria of the UDO. As a courtesy, sample motions for this case have been provided on screen and in your packets. They were also sent out via email, I believe, today as well. Please let me know if at any time you'd like me to display any of the materials seen in tonight's presentation. And with that, I've concluded my presentation and I'm available for any questions you may have. The applicant is also present if you have any questions for them. Thank you.
And Chair, if you wish to speak, if you can unmute using *6. Chair, are you able to hear us? You can unmute using *6.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, my apologies. So for the applicant, could you go ahead and state your name and the city in which you reside, please, for the record?
My name is Corey Maley.
That doesn't hurt.
Oh, okay. I'm new. I don't know what to do. Anyways,
Fine.
my name is Corey Maley, and I live here in Aurora as well.
Okay. Do you have anything that you would like to omit, change, modify from the city staff's report?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you have anything that you would like to add? Maybe any information you would like to share with us?
No, sir. I believe the staff support was pretty thorough, so I don't really have anything to add.
Okay. Thank you so much. Is there anybody from the public that wants to speak?
There is not, Chair.
I'm so sorry, guys. Okay. So I guess we'll close this portion of the meeting to the public. Any
Mr.
discussion
Chair, I'm
amongst the
sorry.
board?
Mr. Chair, this is Stevenson. We just want to have the opportunity for any of the board members to ask either staff or the applicant any questions.
Yeah,
before we
yeah,
close the
yeah,
hearing.
of course.
Okay.
Of course. Yeah, questions from the board to the applicant? Anybody?
How long is this project going to take to do?
I'm hoping to be done within 3 months.
Any more discussion? Okay. Any questions of city staff from the board?
Yes, I have a question. It was mentioned
ahead.
that a permit's going to be required for the garage expansion. Will there also be a permit required for the driveway expansion?
Same.
My understanding is that yes, If it was a standalone driveway, they would typically have to get a public improvement permit for that, but I believe it will all be wrapped into a single permit covering both the garage and driveway.
Okay, thanks, Steve.
I also have a question for staff as far as the cladding that's gonna be on the property. That the recommendation for approval without it having to be, brick instead of the, you know, wooden siding, why is that recommendation acceptable?
I think, first of all, they are ticking other boxes in terms of the approval criteria, meeting the minimum of 4 out of 6 of those criteria. And then we also took into consideration the fact that they were going to paint them to have a similar aesthetic as well.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions for staff? Seeing none, we will go ahead and close this to the public. I will go ahead and start by saying that I have visited the property. Mr. Palestra, did you visit?
No, I haven't. I viewed it online.
Okay. Mr. Selden?
I have viewed the property, visited the property.
You did, okay. And Mr. Pepper?
I visited the property.
Great. General discussion amongst the board? I have a bit of an issue with the cladding. I don't have a problem with the actual project itself, but I believe that the property needs to be clad in the same way that it already is.
I would say that there are at least 7 other garages that meet the same criteria. How are they clad? What I viewed online, they were similar to what this gentleman wanted to do.
I don't disagree with you, sir.
So I think there's an exception here.
Any more discussion? Entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion. I'll make a motion to approve this requested variance as proposed for the property located at 256 South Revere Street, contained in case 04-25, because it does meet the criteria as outlined by our planning department and our code people.
I'll second that.
All right, motion
Okay.
by Mr. Palestra, second by Mr. Selden. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Nay. Looks like the motion carries with a 3-1 vote. So next we have, what do we have here?
Thank you all for your time.
Contact
Thank
with
you. Perfect. Thank you so much.
You're
So we have an updated agenda, right? With an interview?
Yes, Mr. Chair, we have one applicant that's available, right, for the board to ask questions.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
How
You
do
wanna-
you guys want to go about this?
Mr. Chair, the potential candidate is available now for any questions from the board.
Okay. Just open it up for general discussion, I guess. Yeah.
Well, I have questions then. Nicholas, can you tell us about yourself?
Yeah, you can just call me Nick, by the way. Nicholas is way too formal. I'm a software engineer that worked down at Raytheon there. And I live here in Aurora. I have since 2021. I own a property on 20008 East Villanova Place in the Sterling Hills neighborhood. It's main arterial roads would be like, I don't know, Hamden and Iliff and Tower. So in that general area. I'm also part of the board for my HOA as well. I like to get involved, and if I don't like things, I mean, I like to get involved instead of just yelling at the wind. So I think it's important for people to get involved in their governments and boards and their neighborhoods and making their community a better place.
How long did you say you lived in Aurora?
Since 2021,
Oh, it's the past 4 years.
yes.
Where before that?
I lived in Lakewood for about a year.
Oh, Colorado.
Um,
Colorado.
No. I'm actually originally from Minnesota.
Can I ask, how did you hear about the Board of Adjustments?
I applied for a couple. I originally applied for the zoning board, but they didn't prompt me for an interview. So then I applied for you guys, and I believe it was Michelle that called me like an hour later or so. And I was like, oh wow, I didn't even expect such a quick reply. So then she said, hey, we're having this meeting here, and here I am. I just was scouring the website, in short.
What do you bring to the board? What do you think you bring to the board?
I think I bring a passion to want to improve the community here in Aurora, and I don't like that Aurora lives in Denver's shadow. I think we have a great community here and a great city. And I think we can improve it in a lot of ways. And joining boards and getting involved in local government is the way to do it.
Good.
What do you think is the most single important skill for a board member to have?
A sense of community, really. I think being able to relate to other residents and other applicants and putting yourselves in their shoes, having some empathy for them, like the gentleman we had just talked about. What if you wanted to expand your home to a 2-car garage? How would you like to be treated? And also putting empathy on their neighbors. And would it disrupt their lives? Would it disrupt their livelihoods in some way? So being empathetic.
Do you see there being any conflicts of interest that you might have?
I don't think so. I mean, I just lived here in Aurora for the past 4 years. I'm a software engineer. I do improv on Tuesdays sometimes.
Sorry. Do you believe that you have an opportunity to make the majority of meetings and visit sites and everything?
Yes.
For you, how do you typically prepare for? How much time would you typically put into preparing for a board meeting and appeals hearings?
Well, I didn't do much to prepare for this, so 0 for this. But for a typical board meeting, if I were to be put on the board, I mean, probably I see you guys send it via email at least like a week in advance. So, I mean, I would read through it thoroughly the first time, and chew on that for a while and think about that, and then read it again right before the meeting, maybe a day or two prior, and then read it the day of. So, I don't know. I'm not gonna put like hard hours on that, but I don't know, good 3 reads throughout the week or so time that we have.
You have the ability to visit the sites.
I have a car and a bike. I would bike if it's close. I like riding my electric bike.
Do you see yourself being able to hang out for a few years, or are you, knowing that you've only been in Aurora for 4 years, kind of moved from, state to city to city? Do you think you're going to be around here for a little bit?
I certainly think I'll be here for the next few years. I bought a property here, so I have roots here in that regard. I don't plan on selling my house anytime soon. I have a well-paying and a stable job at Raytheon as a software engineer. It's only like a 10-minute drive from my house, so it's hard to beat that as far as commute is concerned. So no, I see no reason why I would up and leave.
Any other questions of the applicant?
None.
I'll make a motion myself to recommend to council to appoint the applicant to the board.
I'll second that.
Second by Mr. Selden. All in favor, aye? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions?
No.
Motion carries. Thank you, sir.
I will be in touch.
Do you want this pen?
Oh, you can have it.
You can have it or.
Thank you.
Thanks, Nick.
Take care.
Yep. Thank you for your time, sir. Other business, is there anything else we need to? Anything else we need to take care of?
No, Mr. Chair, just a update then, if council does vote to bring Nick onto the board, then the board will be full with all of its members, which is good. And as it relates to meetings next month, I believe, I'll look at Jeremiah and Stephen, we do have at least one case scheduled, is that correct? Maybe 2? Okay.
2 or 3.
So we will have a meeting in June as well.
Okay, awesome.
And rest up here, we want you to feel better.
We make
Oh,
a
man,
motion
I
that
am
he
hurting, man.
gets better.
Make a motion to feel better, yeah.
Yeah, no motion to feel better. Jeez, thank you guys. Yeah, okay. Anybody have any other business? Seeing none, I will take a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that a motion to adjourn.
Motion by Mr. Selden,
I'll second it.
second by Mr. Palestra. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, seeing none, let's go.
Yeah,
Have a good
well-
night, guys.
Thank you all.
Thanks, everyone.